I bought every single Apple Watch band today just so we can see how they are, what they look like. I'm gonna compare what my thoughts are after wearing these for some time, which ones are my favorites, and which Apple Watch band I personally think is the best option for you. We'll do this all in order of price and then weight of these watch bands. So there are three general categories, I would argue: the Ocean Band, the Alpine Loop, the Trail Loop, and then there are some fancy categories, which is the Milanese group, the Hermes Band as well. The three standard bands, which are Ocean, Alpine, and Trail Loop, are $99. The Milanese Loops, we have the new Titanium Milanese, which is $199. The Slate Milanese, which I think is stainless steel, that is $99. And then we have the Hermes, this is a new Hermes. It's $449. Let's go by weight. Lightest watch band, which we'll start with on our category, is 9 grams. Next is the Alpine Loop at 13 grams. Then is the Ocean Band at 36 grams in our standard category. Now we go to the Milanese Loops. The Slate Milanese is 40 grams. They're getting heavy. The Titanium Milanese is 32 grams, a bit lighter, which I do appreciate. And the Hermes, just like my pockets will be after buying this band, 14 grams. Now I have every color and the new Apple Watch Ultra 2 in satin black right here. Weighs 62 grams. So if you add that weight, 62, plus whatever the weights of these bands are, that's how much weight is going to be on your wrist. We'll talk about the performance when it comes to working out, getting it wet, going in the ocean. Do a quick laptop test. You know, you don't want to be scratching your laptop. There's belt buckles on the bottom. And then discuss the durability and wear over time. First, before we put all the wristbands on, what is my wrist size? I am a 172 millimeter wrist size. So sometimes I'll get about a medium, maybe medium large, depending on which kind of band that I'm purchasing. Let's get into it. First off are the Trail Loops. These can be your fitness, running watch bands. They're supposed to be quick dry. They're easy to adjust for very micro adjustments to make sure that your watch is on as tight as possible. And they are the lightest out of all of the Apple Watch bands. I actually used to love this band. This is the original model with the Ultra 1, I think it is. I've had this for a long time. Natural titanium color. But the new version, we're using all black titanium, so it's gonna have black on the edges. The thing that I love about the Trail Loops is they're extremely light. When it comes to adjusting them, I can unvelcro and quickly with one hand tighten it on my wrist. So that way I know I'm getting potentially the highest heart rate accuracy data. It's super thin. It does get build-up moisture, so when I work out, I sweat, shower, go in the ocean with it, there is going to be water that builds up in the band, and if you place this on your pants or something like that, you can get them wet because it might not dry as quickly as you want, but it is supposed to be relatively faster drying than other watch bands. When it comes to the laptop test, if I take this band, it's not going to scratch anything. Yes, this is the bottom piece where it adjusts, but there is no metal, so I can tap it against my laptop and it should be fine. And there's not too much weight or pressure. If I press it up against something, I won't feel anything on the bottom of my wrist. Durability over time. I haven't worn these obviously over time, but you can see this is from the Ultra 1. And I wore this for a very long time because it was on the lighter side. It did lose some color, discoloration here from wearing it for so much. And the Velcro pieces of it have lost some of their Velcro-ness. You can see that right there. Just because I wore it every single day. I showered with it, I ran with it, I worked out with it. But this is what could happen when you buy a lighter version of these bands. I think the darker ones are probably nicer and they won't show the wear and tear as much. I like the look and feel of this because it's all black. It looks clean. You might not be able to tell that this is a Trail Loop. And then the second factor is taking this on and off. So taking it off, I can just open it, fully extend the band, and then just pull the band off. I do have to slide it through my hand, which is not ideal for some experiences, but that means if this does get unhooked for some reason, it might be a bit harder to fall off your wrist. So if you're in the ocean and you're wearing this, this is not ideal for, you're less likely to lose it than if it was the type of band where it just opens up at the bottom super easily. And you're most likely playing with this anytime. I like to adjust this when I'm working out. I'll make it tighter. When I'm done working out, I loosen it up. So I'm probably Velcroing this at least 4 to 8 times a day. And then when I take it off to put on the charger, you're also Velcroing it. So this is going to show use over time. And as you Velcro on and off, you can see this is the section where I was Velcroing a lot on this band. It's going to deteriorate over time. It still works, but it loses some of the Velcro stickiness. Like here, it's very sticky. Here, it's less sticky, but it still works. I'd probably buy a new one when the stickiness has gone away entirely. Like here, I can kind of feel it. It's not sticking as well. Whereas if I do it here, the stickiness is much higher. So if you're like, hey, this watch band is actually loosening up when I'm working out or running, and I need it to stay on, then I would replace the band. I think with these bands, it might take, 2, maybe 3 years. I think probably 2 years. This is already getting kind of old. I would replace this. I wore this for about a year. So let's say about a year to year and a half, maybe it's time to replace the band. And it doesn't smell. That's good. My Whoop bands get really smelly. These ones, not as smelly. And just to show you, this is the natural titanium color. So you can see even at the heads, they change. This is satin black, this is natural titanium. So depending on the watch style that you have, because you want it to match. We're not gonna cover too much natural titanium, but in the natural titanium, you'll see it's just a different colorway. The heads, you could swap these out and they would work with each other, but you wanna make sure that you order the right one because it's gonna look really clean with your watch and it won't show a massive difference when you're looking at the edges of the watch band to the watch itself. This natural titanium looks better with a lighter watch band. Next up are the Alpine watches. This is dark green, navy, and tan. This is obviously for the satin black. As you can see, I do have a natural titanium version as well. You're just gonna get the different colors, but this is not part of our collection. When it comes to the Alpine loops, I actually prefer the trail loops more. They're very similar in terms of material. They're very thin, but the trail loop just gets you more micro adjustments, whereas the Alpine loop might be a bit more secure. But I just haven't fallen in love with the style of the Alpine loop. One, because it has the metal at the top, and it has the same issues that the trail loop has when it comes to working out and sweating. It does stay wet a little bit longer, and you can get your pants wet if you rest your watch on your pants. And it doesn't have micro adjustments. You're really limited to the number of loops that are on the watch band itself. So if I want to make it tighter, I can't go half a loop forward. I need to go an entire loop forward. Yes, this is a small issue and challenge, but it's not the best. And then for example, this one, the loop is right there on the bottom. So if we bring our MacBook test here, you can hear that. It's tapping my MacBook. So if you're resting it, there's going to be a higher level of thickness, and there is potential that this could get scratched, or this will scratch your laptop or device, desk, whatever that it's resting on. This is the tan color on tan skin. I kind of like it. I don't know if the watch band matches the satin black as much in my personal opinion. I'm not in love with it. But when it comes to taking it on and off, all you have to do is unhook it, boom. And then the same thing. This is a loop, so you have to loosen the loop on this side and then slide it through your wrist. So same thing with the trail loop because of that. If it does get unhooked for any reason or someone's trying to steal your watch, they do have to slide the watch through your wrist. So it makes it a bit more secure so your watch doesn't fall off if it ever does get accidentally unhooked. And then boom. If I want to do it with one hand, I can easily tighten and loosen as I need. It's super fast and super easy. I haven't worn this watch band as long over time, so I can't talk about the general durability. I wasn't in love with it when I wore it for about a week, but because there's no Velcro, that's not going to degrade over time. The only thing that could happen is these holes rip. But I've never ever heard or seen that from anyone, especially with the Apple Watch native bands. If you're buying some third-party stuff, that's where you could run into challenges. So I would argue this is a very high quality band and it will last you a very long time. The only issue is if you sweat in it a lot, it could smell over time. So just make sure that you're rinsing it out and making sure that your sweat doesn't allow bacteria to grow. Next up are the ocean bands. We have ice blue, navy, and black. Obviously these are for the satin black watch, but for the natural titanium, I used to wear the yellow one a lot, and I also have the white one. These parts right here are going to be natural titanium, whereas on the new versions, you're going to get black. So make sure when you buy the watch bands that you're buying the correct color for your watch. So my hands down favorite has been the ocean band. I typically wear this the most often. I actually fell in love with it and I didn't realize that I liked it so much. And that's for multiple reasons. One, the adjustment factor is I can put this on with one hand, which I do like. It might take a little bit of practice, and as you get better at it, you'll just get better. So I can easily put it on one hand. I press it up against my chest to hold the watch in place while I do that. The second piece is that this has two spots to lock in the band. So that second spot wraps around right here, and you can adjust where this piece goes depending on how tight or loose you prefer your ocean band. So now this just makes it more secure. If you're swimming, you're going in the ocean. I've actually had friends lose their Apple Watches. They were just swimming around and they had one of the sport bands, which are pretty easy to open up. Like especially waves, any kind of faster movements, any kind of water, you're diving. If there's sudden movements and interactions with water, there's a higher likelihood that those sport bands will loosen up. The ocean band is built so that doesn't happen. And that's what I really love about it, because I've had a lot of issues with watch bands just getting loose because I'm always moving around, running and doing things. So this one does not. That's one factor that makes me love it. And the second factor is that it has these bumps. And because I sweat a lot, I work out a lot, I shower, there's just moisture everywhere I go. And then I'm also trying to dry quickly. Because of these bumps right here, the watch band is not fully resting on my skin, it's only these sections. And then it just dries much quicker between my skin, and it just feels more comfortable. If I'm outside, especially in New York, it's very humid, my arms and wrists get sweaty, and the watch band feels really awful with the Alpine and the Trail Loop because I'm a sweaty person. If you're not a sweaty person, it won't be an issue. But with the Ocean Band, it just doesn't feel as uncomfortable because that sweat evaporates much quicker when I'm just walking around New York. If I ever need to tighten it, it's super easy. I get the watch on, boom. I slide it to the point that I need, and I'm like, okay, I'm done working out. I usually use my finger to pull that piece out, and I just slide it in. If I'm like, oh, actually I'm gonna work out, I pull this piece out with my finger, I tighten it up, and I use my other finger to press it into the hole that I need, and now it's super tight, and then I can slide this in with one hand. So adjusting it, I've gotten used to and better at it over time. The laptop test, that's one of the other downsides, is because this also has metal pieces. Depending on where you put the metal pieces, how tight you need to wear this watch on your wrist. There's two metal pieces which you can adjust if you want. Luckily these press up against the band pretty well, so the bumps kind of stick out. See now if I'm angled this way, if I'm angled that way. But if it's directly down, the way I'm wearing it, the distance that I need, and the place that I place this watch band here, it seems to be fine. It's only when I angle it. And if you want to change it, what's nice, so from a laptop test, this is not as bad as the Alpine Loop for me, but it still is not as good as the Trail Loop because of the metal pieces that might hit your laptop. And this piece is so easy, you just pull it out, you slide it out, and now I can place this anywhere I want. So I can move it up higher, just depends on how far I need this watch band to go. So if you have a really big wrist, it might not go very far, and I need to place this closer to the top. For me, it's 3-4 holes down, and I just slide this in, boom, you wrap it around, and then you even it out, bada bing, bada boom, slide it in, and it goes through. Just like that. The Ocean Band for you. I love this. So this is fine. You can wear this with the natural titanium watch bands as well, because there's no technically black on here. The only part that is black is these pieces, so those won't match. But other than that, you could wear this with a natural titanium watch. People might not notice. Okay, durability over time. So what I have noticed with this watch band, I have the older one here, is when I buy a brand new Ocean Band, I can feel the difference. This feels softer. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it, experiencing my sweat, ocean water, showering, all that stuff. The material feels slightly different on both watches after it's been used. Does it look different, perform different? No, but it definitely feels slightly different. I remember when I bought the brand new white Ocean Band, I was like, the sensations are not the same. There's something about it that changes over time. So that's the only thing I've noticed over time with the Ocean Bands. Is this a good or bad thing? I'm not sure. It works great. I don't notice the difference unless I buy a new band, but I don't know, maybe it's just like pieces are slowly eroding on the silicone from the heat and this water, but I can't say it's a good or bad thing. It just feels different. Next are the Milanese loops. So we have the new titanium, which comes in black as well as natural titanium. I only have the black one. And then we have the slate Milanese loop, which is stainless steel, and it's a magnetic right here. Actually, my entire family has Apple Watches, and my mom prefers this one because it fits her style. It looks clean. It is heavy though. That's the only issue. And if you work out, you do a lot of fitness stuff, which my mom does not do as much, you can wear this and you don't have to worry about it. But the titanium Milanese one is supposed to look nice and work in almost all fitness scenarios that the other watch bands work in. So if you want to swim with it, go in the ocean, it's got this locking mechanism rather than a magnet, so it doesn't quickly fall off, and you have to press both sides. It looks clean, so if you want to wear this to a fancy dinner or party, you can do that. And it has a fancier look to it. It's got this chain link design that kind of the scuba divers from back in the day have, and it is a bit see-through. If you look at it, you can see through the band. So it's quick drying. If I wear this and it's humid outside or I'm sweating, I'm not gonna feel like the moisture is just staying on top of my skin, which I absolutely do not like with any watch band. The stainless steel Milanese is the same. It's a bit see-through, as you can tell. It is heavier though. It's a few grams more than the titanium one, and it is magnetic. So this thing can actually fall off your wrist much easier. This is really for slow. This is not built for any kind of fitness activities. Now, when it comes to putting on the titanium Milanese loop, you want to slide your hand through. So that's another safety mechanism where if it unhooks, it's not gonna fall right off. Whereas with the Ocean Bands, it can if it somehow double unlocks. You slide it through, you tighten the band, and now you want to take this piece, and there's a very, very satisfying click. And if I want to adjust the band, I unlock this, and I can slide it to loosen it or slide it to tighten it, and then I put it on and I can wear it. So this is what it looks like. I love the look and feel of this one. Since I like to tighten and loosen my watch bands when I work out, before or after, this one, I was like, how do I do that? It feels complicated, it's hard. It did take a second. There is a learning curve with this one to figure out, okay, which way do I pull these wings to lock and unlock it? So that was one thing. And the second thing, when it comes to tightening it for workouts, I will unhook this and I turn my wrist upside down exactly, so I gently slide it forward, I lock it in place again, and then I grab the end and I put it in place. I've gotten better at this, knowing the tight and loose settings I prefer, but that's now how I get it on. It's much tighter. And I'm like, okay, workout done. We unhook, we open this, we loosen it just a couple chain links, we close it, I'll grab the other end, pull it and tighten it so I can do this with one hand, slide it in, and now it's a little bit looser. My heart rate data won't be as accurate, but for day-to-day wear, I prefer it to be just a tad bit looser than when I'm doing a workout. Laptop test. Let's pull up our handy-dandy iPad. This is metal. This is titanium. It is strong. So you hear that? Most likely it's going to scratch the device that it touches. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's a bit louder. There is a level of thickness at the bottom of the band, so my wrist is not going to rest as gently as it might on the trail loop because it does pop out. So just be careful with that. And then the second piece is this durable and how does it last over time? So I've had this for almost a month, I want to say a few weeks. And one downside is when you do open it up, so this can fly back, hit the top of the watch. You don't want titanium scratching your Apple Watch screen. So I've had this kind of gently sometimes slap the top of the watch, but luckily no scratches on the screen. Maybe it has affected the trim. So if you look at the Titanium Milanese, you see there are some scratches. This is only from 3 to 4 weeks of wear every day from fitness activities, working on my desk, on my laptop. So you see there are scratches right there. So if I try to wipe it off to see if that's residue or not, nope, still there. So that is one downside from a durability perspective. If you're like, hey, I'd rather save $100 and buy the Slate Milanese Loop, which is stainless steel. It's probably better if it's the old stainless steel watches. I probably would not recommend getting this one, but if you're like, hey, I must have it, then sure. It is magnetic, so look at that if you want to put it on off. You do have to slide your hand through rather than having the watch come right on. Can I do this one-handed? I unmagnetize it, I pull it, boom. It's super easy to tighten. Very similar to the trail loop in terms of how you loosen and tighten the watch and take it on and off. Now for the laptop test. Because this is magnets, I can feel the magnets pulling on the iPad Pro magnets, especially right here. But it is going to touch and come in contact with whatever it is. So there is potential that this could scratch that device or vice versa. And from a durability perspective, oh, see? Slap the top, be careful with those. From a durability and wear and tear perspective, I don't know how well the magnet holds up over time. From every Apple product I've had, from the Apple Pencil, the iPads with the magnetic keyboards and all those things, magnets hold up pretty well. I would assume with the watch, this will be the same. Honestly, if you're gonna get that, I highly recommend just getting the Titanium Milanese Loop. This just has more advantages. It's lighter. It looks almost exactly the same, and you can use it in more environments. And maybe you're like, oh, $199 for a watch band. That is not enough. I need to spend more money. Well, don't worry, I got you. This is the new Hermes watch band, $449. You could buy an Apple Watch Series 10 for the same price of this band. It is very light. I feel so wrong just having this. This is one of the new Hermes watches. I'm sorry I couldn't buy them all, but I had to pick one. This is mainly built for the natural titanium watch. I'm sorry, it's not for the Ultra 2 Satin Black, which we all know and love. From a texture perspective, it feels nice, it feels clean. It makes the watch look a bit more professional. If you're someone who cares about the Hermes name, you can see that it's written right here. This all matches kind of the natural titanium of the watch itself, which is nice. And on the edges here, you can see it's flush and it's almost the same color. It is provided by Apple. It says Hermes Paris right here. Not a bad watch band, not too much flexibility. But now it feels like a classic watch. This is what most classic watch bands are like. You go ahead, poke it in the hole, wrap it through here. And now we've got this watch band with the natural titanium. I don't know if I'd want to wear this as a watch to work out in just because it's so expensive. It doesn't look like it's made to get wet too often. And then for our laptop test, this is directly on the bottom. It's going to tap my laptop, at least for my wrist size. Maybe if you do get a smaller band, this might slide up a little bit more and you're less likely to hit things with it, but not ideal. From taking it on and off, resizing it, I can do that all with one hand because it's very similar to the Ocean Band, but it has slightly of a double lock. From a quality of stitching perspective, it looks like it's very well made. It looks like there's nothing that's kind of sticking out. I don't see anything, but it looks to be very detailed in its design. I think you're asking a techie person and not a fashionista person if this is a good watch band, but wow. $450. And the other special watch bands, I used to be a massive Nike watch band fan. I love the white and I love this new confetti style. These are really nice because I love the holes. Any kind of silicone band like the sports bands or things like that, they do contain moisture, but the Nike bands used to be my primary favorite because they're breathable. You know, as someone who sweats, it's in a humid environment, working out a lot. The holes just make it so the sweat evaporates faster and it doesn't feel as uncomfortable as a regular watch band. Like I know the Garmin, which is nice. The Samsung also has more holes in it. So I do appreciate when watch manufacturers do that. You don't want to have too much moisture in your wrist. But the Ocean Band has become my new favorite on top of the Nike bands because it still looks clean. It has a double locking mechanism where the Nike bands do not. These are just more likely to come apart in action, especially in the ocean. you can lose a watch in any kind of wave. So the Ocean Bands have the same dryness factor and a very strong locking factor. So this has become my new everyday favorite until maybe you're like me and you wear multiple wearables. Like I have a Whoop right here and I'm running out of wrist space because I wear 2 watches. So I did find this on Amazon. It's like made in China. I can link to it below if you want, but this was like a what, 38, 40, 41 millimeter. And I don't know if it's actually going to work, but what this allows me to do is take my Apple Watch. If you look at that, I actually bought the wrong size. It's too small, but it fits. It works semi. So you can just see the theory of how this works. So yeah, Apple Watch band, black, cool. I bought the wrong size, that's okay. We take our Whoop, we slide it out of its original bicep band, and now we slide the Whoop into here, which you're like, why do you need 2 heart rate monitors? And if I want to take my Apple Watch off to charge, I then have to also take my Whoop off. So this is not ideal. And now we clasp this on. So there's a Whoop on the bottom and there's an Apple Watch on the top. This is crazy. Who is gonna do this? I've seen one other person wear this and I was like, that's madness. Looks like these third-party Whoop bands are not built properly. They don't fit. Okay, let's just try this. So I'm gonna slide the watch in without unhooking the Whoop, and then we're going to slide this on. Boom. We have a problem. But if you do decide to buy a Whoop, go to join.whoop.com/driven. Okay, this is interesting, unique, different, not necessary. There are sport bands too. I'm not in love with these because you could use the Trail Loop. They're quick to adjust, but the same thing, they get your jeans wet if these are wet after a workout. So those are kind of these special, unique bands. Now, let's talk about what I recommend and what my favorites are after having explored all this. If you work out a lot, you go in the water a lot, maybe swimming, ocean, you sweat a lot and you're exposed to just water, maybe it's humidity from the environment, get a watch band that's breathable and doesn't come in contact with your skin all the way around. So one of the biggest favorites of mine is the Ocean Band because of that. It's breathable and the full watch band is not always in contact with your skin. There's these little gaps on the bottom, so I do appreciate that. The Nike bands also have holes, they're breathable, but it's not great for the ocean, right? They could fall off. So the Ocean Band, secure for working out. It's got semi-adjustment, so it's not perfect for getting the exact tightness that you need, but it's good enough in my opinion for moisture, sweat, working out, and taking it off and on. This is my favorite if you're willing to spend $99. Maybe you're someone who does not work out, you don't care about the wet, sweat, resistance and all that, but you just want something that looks nice and you want to save money. The Slate Milanese for $99, which is another option. This is not built for the new satin black, but if you're trying to save money and you want something that looks good, this is probably the next best option. You could try to buy $30 knockoffs on Amazon. You're just not going to get the quality, the weight, and the durability that you do with the Apple Watches. If you're buying a $700 Apple Watch Ultra, invest in a good watch band. That's my personal opinion. If you're trying to save money, just get the Apple Watch SE. You know, this is the Series 10, also a nice watch, the SE. Save some money, and if you want to buy knockoffs with those watches, go for it. But if you're buying the Ultra, get a good band. So overall, sport, fitness, I go with the Ocean Band. It's good enough. Use a heart rate monitor if you want absolute heart rate accuracy. Style, sport, and fitness, go with the Titanium Milanese Loop. It covers it all. Purely style, Slate Milanese. When it comes down to colors, I like colors that pop on my watch sometimes, but I prefer to wear 2 watches. So if I'm wearing this Garmin watch with the bright orange, and then I'm wearing the Apple Watch Ultra, maybe with a bright blue, it can look a bit weird. So sometimes what I'll do is one watch will be bright and the other one will be all black, and that's kind of why I fall in love with the Slate Milanese, because then I can have a discreet watch on the right side and a bright orange on the other side. And if I take this off after my workouts, I just have a discreet, nice looking watch on one side. I will have Amazon affiliate links down below, so if you do want to click one of those, that helps support the channel. If you don't, just search it on Google and find the watch band yourself. Subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me at @ShermanShares. I love Apple Watches. I don't think you realize how many Apple Watches that I own. So watch me a little bit more. Let's see you in the next one. Peace.